What's in season? What's in season? What's in season? I hear you ask. Lemon, lime, and passion fruit, everybody. That's what's in season, I hear you ask. All of these things, well, I'm going to try and grow them all in this country. I was just thinking, do they grow in this country? Well, no, they are imported actually. But I've got a lemon tree downstairs, I've got a lime tree, and I have a passion fruit vine as well. I bought my vine at the end of autumn last year, and I've overwintered it downstairs in my basement where I've got all my citrus trees, and it's doing really, really well. So I'm going to plant it out this year. It's going against a really warm south-facing, well, it's kind of southwest-facing wall, and it's going to be interesting to see if I get anything from it. But, I mean, I don't think I'm going to get anything as good looking as that. However, you can buy them from your greengrocers and in the supermarket. So what am I going to make with those? I am going to make a cheesecake / tart. It's not really a proper cheesecake in that the base of it is going to be pastry, and that's going to be the tart part of it. But all of these ingredients are going to go into the cheesecake, and it will be delicious. So the first thing I've got to do is I have to make the pastry for the tart base. So that is, altogether, is 110 grams of unsalted sugar, and it would be preferable if it's at room temperature. So that goes in. And I might just break this up a little bit. As you can see, it's very easy to break up here. There we are. Let me just wipe my hands. Okay, so that's the unsalted butter. And then to that, I add 60 grams of caster sugar. That goes in. And I'm going to whiz it up. So I will just whiz it up. It's going to take a while, and then I'll show you the consistency when it's done. Okay, have a look at this. There we are. Nice and smooth. Really, really lovely. That is the consistency we want. Okay, so now what am I adding? Now I add 130 grams of plain flour. That goes in. I must say, when you cream butter and sugar in a food processor, it is so fast and it does such a great job. I mean, it's also good to do it in a mix master like my Kenwood or a KitchenAid, or if you've got the handheld ones, that's fine too. The only thing with that is if the butter is a little bit hard, it might take a little bit longer. And then if you don't have any of these kind of gadgets, just use a wooden spoon and you'll get some great biceps happening. Of course, I don't have great biceps because I've got all the gadgets. So yeah, 130 grams of plain flour. And then here we have semolina, and that goes in as well. All right, I'm just going to mix this up now, and it's going to form a dough, and then I will turn this out and work it just together, and then we're going to line my flan dish. Okie dokie. Okie doke. Here we go. It comes out a little crumbly first, but there's a lot of butter in this. So I'll show you how you work it. See how crumbly this is here? It's a little bit kind of biscuity, like a shortbread. What I'm going to do is, now you could do a few things with this. You could and it leaves quite a lot of butter here, you could turn it into just a blob like this, and then you could put it in the freezer if you wanted to, or you could put it in the fridge. I am going to use this size dish, and I'm only using a porcelain dish because I don't have the right size. I need a 23 centimetre fluted tart tin, and I've got big ones, I've got small ones. So I'm going to try it in this one and see what happens. Now, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in and I'm going to start to work it. And that is all with fingers. Now, it may get a little greasy depending on how quick you can do this. So I'm going to go as quick as I possibly can. And a nice way, I mean, I do like, again, I'll say it again, I like doing everything with my hands because I can feel. So the main thing is that you get it all into the base. When you have this when you put the pastry in the fridge or in the freezer, it's easier to work with actually because you can take it out and you can grate it into the actual tart case. But I'm not going to do that because when I've done this, when it's in here, it then goes in the freezer for an hour. If you are running a bit strange for time and you're not doing this all at once, then you can put it in the fridge for as long as you want. I mean, you could probably put it in overnight if you want to. It just has to come out nice and firm before we put it in the oven and we bake it blind. So I'm going to continue doing this and I'll see you in a minute. All right, there it is. And look, what I've done is I've put some overhang on the actual sides of the dish because this is going to go into the oven and it's going to be blind baked. And if there is any shrinkage, which there shouldn't be much with this type of pastry because it's more a kind of biscuity pastry, then it'll be able to cope because we've got this overhang. You can see that you've got finger marks in there, but it really doesn't matter because it's going to be filled. All right, so this now goes into the freezer for an hour. So it'll firm up really nicely because the butter will make sure of that. And after about half an hour, I then put the oven on. The oven has to go on to 180 Celsius, 160 fan or gas mark 4. So I'll see you then. Right, so we've had half an hour, no we haven't, we've had an hour in the freezer and I've just got my pastry case out here and I've lined it with some foil and now I'm going to just put some beans in it. Now these beans here were really old, I'm trying to work out what they are, these beans. I don't know, borlotti beans maybe and some cannellini beans, dried ones. And so I just use these, and there's quite a few, as you can see, the whole jar. Right, so this is pretty full, which is very, very nice. There we are. Right, the oven has been preheated to 180 Celsius. Mine's a fan, I like to use the fan, so it's 160 or gas mark 4. I'm going to put this in for 25 minutes. So, put that in there. Right, 25 minutes. And then let's see what it looks like, and I will then take out the foil with the beans and cook it for a few minutes more. And I'll show you what it's meant to look like. In front of me here I have all the rest of the ingredients and I will be making the filling. Right, so I had this in the oven for 25 minutes with this on top, and then I took all of that off, the foil and the beans, and then I left it in the oven for another I would say another 8 minutes or so. And what you want is, now this is going to be interesting. You can probably see it from there. The colour, I'm going to bring it over actually and show you colour. You see, it's quite brown. And when you touch it, the centre here, it feels a bit sandy. And that sandiness is the semolina. Yeah, it's a bit sandy. It's not, it's very good actually, yes, very good. So it's not spongy. If it's still a little bit spongy, put it back in the oven. And don't worry about it being too dark on the edges. Of course, don't burn it. But that's going to be covered with all the stuff, the filling as well. So I'm going to set this now aside, and I want it to cool completely. And while that is cooling, I am going to make the filling, which is actually like a curd filling. So get ready to do some stirring. And actually, I've just been playing around with this tart here, and I thought what I would do is, while it was still warm and it doesn't actually brittle and break off, I'm going to cut all my excess that I had over the tops. You know, those edges that it was all excess filling. So I'm just going to cut that while it's still a little bit warm, because I think it will actually react. And actually it's cutting very, very nicely. So I'm just going really, really close to the edge and just cutting. I mean, I'm making a hell of a mess here, but it doesn't matter because it's just all for me to nibble on and eat. So yeah, do that as well. All right, so now we are going to make the filling for this cheesecake tart. And it's like a curd, so you need to do a lot of stirring on the stove. In my pot, I have 230 grams of caster sugar. Then I juiced 2.5 lemons. The other half of the lemon I put aside. That's going to go in something else. So that goes in. And also added to that was the juice of 2 limes as well. So it's, what have I done here? 2.5 lemons and 2 limes. That is the juice. Then we do the zest of 3 lemons and 2 limes, which is really nice. Look. That goes in. Right. Then I'll just show you. Here we are. I'm going to heat this, and I'm going to kind of heat it on low, really, medium to low. We're going to heat this through until it dissolves, and then we'll be back to add the next bit. Okay, here I am with my whisk. So that's melted really beautifully, you can see. I've taken it off the heat because you can see there's a little bit too much steam coming up, because the next step is, and actually I think I've got it on, I'll show you, too big a flame. I think I'm going to put it on this small flame here. Do you know, we've had this cooker for so long now and I still can't work out which flame is which. So I'm going to turn that down to really, really low, because to this now I add 4 eggs and 4 egg yolks that I've whisked, okay? They go in. And what we don't want is, we don't want it to curdle. Right, so this goes in. That's the first thing that happens. And I'm just going to whisk this until it really, where is it? There it is. Until it starts to thicken. Actually, come back up to me. Yeah. Okay, so when this starts to thicken, I then swap this fella for this. And then the interesting thing is we stand here in a meditative stance for about, well, it's probably going to take me at least 10 minutes. And so I keep stirring and stirring and stirring for 10 minutes. But what I'm waiting for at the moment is I'm waiting for this to start to thicken. Now, you do not want to have scrambled eggs in there, so that's why I've put it on a really low heat, because then I can control it. So be really careful. If at any time this looks as though it's going to curdle or turn into scrambled eggs, take it off the heat straight away, but keep stirring all the time. Okay, I don't know whether you made curd before, lemon curd, orange curd, but this is a very, very similar thing. And lemon and lime, very nice. So I will let this thicken, and once it's thickened, I will then show you, and then I'll stand here and think about how lovely the summer's going to be for about 10 minutes. Okay, so that didn't take long actually, and I'm starting to feel resistance against my whisk, and that means that things are starting to thicken. I mean, you can't really see it, unfortunately. So I am going to throw you in the sink, and I'm going to continue here, and I've got the clock in front of me, and what else have I got? Oh, look here. I have my glass of vino. Oh, I better turn this down. I have my glass of vino, and by the way, I made this. This is my Sauvignon Blanc that I made. Okay, I'm going to take this off the heat because I'm talking too much about my Sauvignon Blanc, and I do not want this to curdle. So yeah, so I've got into wine making. If you follow me on Instagram, you will see that I get up to quite a few escapades because I get a little bit obsessed with certain things, like I was with sourdough and now winemaking. And I made this fantastic, look at it. You can see right through that. I made this fantastic Sauvignon Blanc, and ooh, very nice. Do you know, the great thing about making your own wine is that you can control the sugar. So I don't like sweet Sauvignon Blancs. I don't like anything like New Zealand ones. I rather a French. And this is absolutely perfect. So I'm just going to stand here, and actually this is looking great. So I've got it off the heat at the moment, and I'm stirring, 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 and I'm looking at the clock, and I'll just keep stirring actually and just stand here because it's actually quite nice and therapeutic. You can stay here with me, but I actually think that it might be a little boring for you. So I'll see you soon. All right. Here it is. I didn't fall asleep. Look. See? That is what you're looking for. It looks a little bit like curd. And now what we're going to do is, I've got a sieve and I've got this plastic bowl, and I am going to put this through the sieve. It's still quite warm, so I'm going to kind of fiddle around with it just to cool it down a little bit, but I don't want to cool it too much actually, because to this I now add unsalted butter, a little bit, a little bit, a little bit at a time. Let's get all of this out because this is just, oh, the smell. Now what do I do with this? Right, let's put this in the sink, and let me just have a look here. So this is going to go through this sieve, I hope. Who knows? Oh yes, it is going through the sieve. You'll see that when you start doing this on the stove, some of the egg white starts to look as though it's going into like scrambled eggs, but don't worry about that because when you put it through the sieve here, everything kind of evens itself out and you don't have scrambled eggs. So I'm nearly done. Then I'm going to add 200 grams. Let me just let that sit there for a minute. So yeah, I'm going to add 200 grams of, cheers, unsalted butter. I always like a good quality unsalted butter. I have a tendency to, if anything new comes into the supermarket, I'll always buy it. But really, you cannot go wrong with Lurpak. It is great. I don't really like the supermarket's own brands because the butter, for me, it's not good enough quality. I haven't got any of the French stuff here at the moment. I've just done an order, a shopping order, so it is coming. However, I'm still going here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to switch off my dishwasher because it's making a few noises. I always like to kind of wash up when I'm cooking. Some people don't. Some people wait until the end of cooking and then look at it and think, oh dear. But, okay, so what's happening here is I've got the zest left. Well, some of it. But some of it has gone into the bottom container. And then now I'm just going to kind of squash it through. And I'll show you what I'm left with. Very nice. Ooh, perhaps I better do this though. Ooh, look at that. Look at it coming off. That's just beautiful. I don't know whether you like what we call curd here in the UK. Okay, so this is left. You've got the zest in there and you've got a little bit of the egg white. So what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to wash this wooden spoon because I don't really want a lot of zest in here. And this looks absolutely gorgeous. It's still a little bit warm. So now I grab my unsalted butter, 200 grams, remember, and it's kind of softened because it's been at room temperature, and this the room in the kitchen has been quite warm because I've had the oven on. And I just start breaking it into little pieces, and I beat this into my curd mixture, which sounds really, really lush, doesn't it? This is a really, really nice, actually I'm making this for Mother's Day, for my mother-in-law, because my mum doesn't live here. My mum lives in Australia, so I can't make it for her. And in Australia, Mother's Day is in May, so that ain't gonna work. But what we're doing is we're making a meal for my mother-in-law and father-in-law, and we're taking it to their place for Mother's Day. I'm just washing my hands here, everybody. So bear with me because they're all a little bit greasy. So there we are. Let's get one of these tea towels. Here we are. That's good. Right, let's go. I can see it's already starting to melt. So you really do want to get this while it's still warm. And I'm going to come closer to the camera. I haven't got Mr. N tonight. He's watching the football. Look. See? So that is looking beautiful. Oh, nice. Do you know, you could just get a spoon and eat it. That's beautiful. Really beautiful. Keep working that in, everybody. Let's pop that in the bin. Let's wait for that to melt a little bit more. Yeah. Keep working it in. And then, you're probably thinking, where the hell is the passion fruit? Passion fruit's next. Beautiful. Oh dear, 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 dear. This is just something, it really is. Keep stirring because you're going to still have lumps of butter, but they will actually emulsify. And while I'm here, here is the pulp of my passion fruit. So I have 3 passion fruit here that I chopped in half and took the pulp out of. Now, passion fruit is one of my favourite fruits. Of course, being Australian, it is readily available. And my mum, well, she lives on a farm actually, and she has so much passion fruit. She said to me the other day, oh, I don't know what to do with it all. I'm thinking, what? I'll give you a few recipes. And actually, she was quite interested in this recipe. So I am going to keep stirring this until it mixes in, and then I'll be back. Right, so the next step is you need something that's going to hold the cheesecake together, and that is gelatin. So I'm using a leaf of gelatin. Now, gelatin comes in all different forms. You can have it powdered, you can have it in liquid form, and this is gelatin leaf. I like this company, it's called Costa, and you get it from really good supermarkets, or you buy it online. So what I've done is I've taken one of these leaves. Let me get it out, I'll show you. That's what they look like. You can use a vegetarian gelatin as well if you want to. If you don't want to use, you know, gelatin that's made out of animals. And then what I've done is, behind me, I have taken 3 tablespoons of this mix that I did, and I've just heated it up. Let me just feel, yeah. Okay, so I've just heated it up really, really gently. I'm going to take this gelatin, which I have had in water for 5 minutes, just soaking. I'm going to give it a squeeze and then put it in this mix in here and let it dissolve. Oh, that dissolves really quickly. That's really, really beautiful. That's dissolved beautifully. And then this then goes into this mix. So that then, when it gets cold in the fridge overnight, is going to hold everything together. But we haven't finished, because there's a little extra in this cheesecake tart. Let's pop that away. Okay, so I'm going to stir this in nicely. And I'll show you a little extra. So this is the extra. Cream cheese. You can use any brand you want, but I love Philadelphia. So in here I have 80 grams of cream cheese, and I have 50 grams of icing sugar. I will show you. There we are. And then remember that extra half a lemon that we squeezed? Well, here it is. That goes in. That's beautiful. Now I may as well use the spoon for this. Actually, no, I'm going to use another one, because I am going to mix this all together. So we've got the Philadelphia, the icing sugar, and the lemon juice. We're going to mix this all together, and then we've got 2 fillings really. we can assemble this beauty. Okay, here's my lemon, lime and passion fruit filling with the gelatin. And here is my lovely pastry case. So we pop this in here. Oh gosh, the smell. The smell is actually quite amazing. I'm thinking, is it bowl licking time after this? Of course I have to, I have to have a taste, don't I? Good Lord, can you imagine if I didn't have a taste? Okay, so this is beautiful. That's in there. Then, let's pop this here. Okay, with this cream cheese that I did, I just whisked it with one of these. I am going to just get a few little, I'm going to dollop it on the top here. I don't know what that is on the back of my spoon. Let's dollop. Dollop first. Get artistic in a minute. Okay. Ooh, okay, no. Dollop, do all the dolloping. And try and not really join them together. All right, now watch what I do. I've just got a skewer and I'm going to go in and I'm just going to do a little bit of swirling. And that is going to look pretty, as well as taste amazing. I'm still going to dollop. Ooh, is less is more? Maybe. Look how pretty that looks. I'm going to come and show you. Actually, I'll show you properly. There you go. Looky at that. That's it. Lemon, lime, passion fruit, cheesecake tart. This goes in the fridge overnight, and tomorrow we will consume it. Great, isn't it? So, thank you for watching, and I hope you make this because it is really delicious. Looking forward to seeing you next time on What's in Season, I Hear You Ask. If you like my videos, then give me a thumbs up, that'd be nice. And even better, if you subscribe, then you'll get them posted to you and you'll know when I've put another one on. We're going into spring now, so ingredients will start changing, but not yet because we're kind of in the hungry gap. So I've got a few more up my sleeve with winter stuff, and then when the spring things start coming through, I will be adding those, and that's when it gets really exciting. See you next time. What's in season? What's in season? What's in season?